possible that Brock Osweiler doesn't make this team?
I don't think so. I think because he's a second-round pick, can you imagine the criticism John Elway would get if Brock Osweiler not only didn't last the season, but was cut before the season even started? Look, you don't want to have to go to Brock Osweiler, Zach Dysert, or Trevor Siemian at any point this year. But if you have to go to somebody, if something were to happen to Peyton, I think you'd feel most secure, most safe with Brock, yes?
Rex Grossman. I say that, but that type of Matt Hasselbeck. Did you know? I didn't realize this. Matt Hasselbeck was drafted the same year as Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Did you know?
It's put in a lot of years.
Yeah. Charles Woodson. Those are the three guys left from that draft choice, that draft pick year. All right. Let me follow up on that. Brock Osweiler, Ronnie Hillman, Quantorris Smith.
Yeah.
Kayvon Webster. I can go through a list. I looked at the last, the John Elway drafts, and I think there is some room for criticism.
Oh, no doubt.
How many of those guys that he's drafted are actually in the starting lineup? One has been suspended for the first 4 games and has a concussion. Kayvon Webster.
You're talking about Derek Wolfe.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Kayvon Webster didn't play much last year. Remember that incident in Dallas involving him and
yes,
some other player?
It was a running back. It was Ronnie Hillman.
And we haven't seen a whole lot of the two of them. I mean, Ronnie Hillman was hurt last year.
Yeah.
We still don't know what happened in Dallas. I don't have a clue what happened in Dallas. Do you?
I do.
Okay, all right. And you're not going to tell me.
Let's just put it this way. I'll put it this way. There were suspicions that they partied a little too hardy the night before the game.
Okay, all right. So then, but if you were to go around to the various positions, I'll give you another guy. We're not talking much about Barrow that came out of LSU.
Lamine Barrow, the linebacker.
He made a lot of mistakes last year when he got a chance to play. There are a lot of guys in that on both sides of the ball that John Elway was responsible for that aren't panning out great.
You can criticize some of the draft picks. Absolutely. I think he's more than made up for it in free agency, though. The free agency's brought in one Pro Bowl player after another after another. You need both.
But you got to do both.
I get it.
And he said from the beginning that you had to build through the draft, and we could go through it in terms of offensive linemen, running backs. I mean, college free agents, yes, and veteran free agents. I don't think there's any questioning of John Elway in terms of how he's handled both those areas.
Yeah.
But he and his staff, Matt Russell, Eckert, is it? Tom Eckert?
Heckert. Yeah.
Heckert, yeah.
Heckert with an H. Yeah.
Heckert. You could question the drafts.
You can. There's room for that.
Roby's a great draft pick.
Roby was a very good
we
draft
think
pick.
is going to be a great draft pick.
There have been some really good draft picks. Von Miller, and there have been some questionable draft picks.
Monte Ball.
I think if you look at any team, you're going to find that, though. And I'm not making excuses for John Elway, but back to Brock Osweiler.
No.
If Brock Osweiler pans out, that puts a different color on the whole draft process.
If he doesn't,
for John
though,
Elway.
you got a quarterback. 2 quarterbacks. Zach Dysert, you agree, could be cut this year.
Yeah, but he was a 7th rounder, too. And this is his 3rd year with the team.
Zach Dysert and Brock Osweiler were drafted. Monte Ball and Ronnie Hillman were drafted. Neither one of those are starters. Neither one of those quarterbacks are starters.
Well, Monte Ball was a starter last year until he got hurt.
And then he came back and he wasn't very effective when he got hurt again, and then he really wasn't in there. Ronnie Hillman has been, and I supported Ronnie Hillman. I wanted them to draft him before the draft. I pointed that out. Cody Latimer, we're still not certain that he's going to be a great player. Virgil Green has turned out to be a good player.
Wouldn't it be fair to say some of the drafts you need to wait 2 or 3 years?
Well, but the other thing, and I thought you'd come back with me, I was giving you an opening. Most of the great players he's drafted are gone. Why are they gone?
most of the
Free
great
agency.
players he's drafted?
Yeah, free agents. Julius Thomas.
True.
Some of they've lost 4 players.
Orlando Franklin?
Orlando Franklin, the safety.
Raheem Moore.
Raheem Moore.
Yeah.
So
You said great players. Raheem Moore's not great, and Orlando Franklin's
Orlando
not great.
Franklin graded
starters.
out
They were starters.
among guards, and Julius Thomas was a Pro Bowl player, wasn't he?